come down into this talk, and this is engine transmission systems. I like this because I get to show this picture. This is the Marine Sonya TRK. It has gnome engines located in the side of this bulky fuselage, driving these propellers through a drivetrain system. I don't know much about this aircraft. I went to the archive. Whenever we were at the archive book, we couldn't find anything. Then the Davilla Press came out with a book, definitive book on the Marine Sonya, so I hope we have more information, but he didn't know any more than I did. We don't know if this aircraft even flew. But it shows you, thinking how much they were doing at that time. This is the Link Hoffman R40, and you see two propellers but no engines. And that's because the engines are inside. In this case, it shows three, but they're actually four inside. And they drive through a very complicated system, the propellers. Why they did this, I'm not sure. Perhaps they thought it made it more streamlined. Perhaps they felt that an engineer inside the fuselage would be able to access and repair the motors in flight. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I own a Mercedes-Benz, and I think it's a perfect example of German over-engineering no problem. This is a Siemens Schukertz R6. It has a similar transmission system. This is more important because this aircraft actually got into combat on the Russian front and underwent combat evaluation and flew a number of missions. Again, its complexity and size made it difficult for use on that front, but I'll give it credit as being the first aircraft of this type to see combat. However, there's one aircraft that saw combat in significant numbers, and that is the Samsung Manu SM-1. Manu is an engineer for the Samsung firm. He has this huge rotary engine you see in the side of the fuselage, and he decided, geez, you put that in the front, you're going to have a huge amount of drag. So let's put it laterally in the engine, and we'll use it to drive the propellers through a drive chain. Now you look at that, you're going to have a lot of drag just with that system, a lot more than I think the engine would have provided. But nonetheless, it did get into combat. And this is a picture from one of Jack's books. This shows the aircraft as it was used by one of the units. Just so you know, it was never entirely an escadrille. These are 3C or A3 reconnaissance aircraft. They were divided up among the reconnaissance units. But it was clearly outclassed by a time, and even in Manhattan. Imagine trying to fix that system in a rainy, muddy airfield. So it was not widely used. Post-war, you see fixed-wing aircraft with transmission systems and buried engines, primarily in Beetle aircraft. This is an example, the Bell XB-3. The engine's under the grills in the rear of the fuselage, and the propellers move up and down. We do, however, have one aircraft today, fixed-wing, that uses an engine transmission system, not a helicopter. That's a B-22. Now, the B-22, you can say, wait a minute, it's got two engines. You can't say it. Well, it's a Beetle aircraft. If you're hovering and one engine fails, you go like that, and you're going to lose the aircraft. So you have to have a complex system for one engine to be able to drive both propellers. And that's one of the reasons the aircraft took so long, it was so expensive to develop. But it is an operational use. It remains, right now, the only operational aircraft I know of that has an engine transmission system. So it and the SM-1 are the only ones to see widespread use. In conclusion, you know, I came to World War I differently than most. I didn't start with an interest in the subject. I actually wanted to write a book for Putnam's French aircraft in 1943. They said, would you mind doing World War I? And I so foolishly said yes. And so I had to go back and scrap everything to go back and work on this book. And I have to say, it was an eye-opening experience. It was mentioned that I did an encyclopedia of aircraft, and actually, I have calculated there are 7,000 different prototypes of military aircraft of all types produced in the last 100 years. Of those, 1,500 were created in the years of World War I, 1914-18, meaning that 20% of all military aircraft ever built were built in that time period. These people had innovative ideas. You can see here, it's clever. You know, they're not trying to rewrite the rule book, they're trying to write the rule book. And they're doing it in the crucible of combat. They have unique solutions for unique problems. We've seen that here too. And of course, tremendous imagination, sometimes too imaginative, but that's all right. It's part of the process. What I most admire about them was a willingness to try anything, literally anything. And I think that that's something I greatly respect. So I might have had some fun here at the expense of World War I aircraft, but I want to say that I have great admiration for the engineers and the air crew. You know, they didn't have a military-industrial complex. They could do anything they wanted to. And that resulted in some unique designs, which you can see here. Most of these, in fact, virtually all of them, ended up finding expression in the modern day, and even some of the ideas, such as engine transmission systems, aero cannon, are still going to be in use until the end of the century. Thank you very much.